there's no peace near, well, does it help to know?
My name is Svein Rasmussen. I grew up in a little town in Norway, in the south of Norway, called Arendal. Beautiful area and great for water sports. So when windsurfing started to come around, I was probably 13, 14 years old and got hooked pretty quickly, and that was all I did. I'd be out 5-10 hours every day windsurfing, put my backpack on and go to the islands, sail around them and come home when the sun was down. And then I got hooked on racing, so I did all the championships locally and nationally, and then started to travel around Europe and did Olympic Games in '84. That was an incredible experience. It's like I can't measure that to anything else. And then there was the Pro Tour. At that time it was called PBA. It later became PWA. That was the thing that we all aspired to. So we were on that tour for 10 more years. And I guess I was the luckiest kid in town. I basically had holidays for 15 years, backpacking around doing exactly what I wanted to do, and I had supporters, companies that helped me to travel, and lots of people supporting in any possible way. Parents very supportive, friends. So a very unique, happy first 30 years of my life. Then by that time, windsurfing gear had become, at least on the tour, it had become very strange. It was like the gear that I used, I couldn't see my friends actually using, even if they were quite skilled. I remember my slalom boards were down to 48 centimeters wide, and my widest Peter Tommen board from F2 would be 53 centimeters wide. That was kind of my lightning gear, and it just didn't kind of match up. And during all these years of traveling, one was exposed to a lot of ideas and people, and I always liked to look at different things. And there was one sailor in New Caledonia, Jean-Louis Colmas. He was entering the Numea Cup, one of the PWA stops in New Caledonia, and he was faster than everybody else. You know, at that time there was Bjørn Dunkerbæk, it was Anders Springdal, Bjørn Dunkerbæk, Anders Springdal, you know, always gaming. And he was faster than both of them. And you know, he was a small guy like me, so there was something special to it. He had his wooden boards, and so I ordered one of those, and I was just taken away with the performance, and seeing that after half a year of use, it just had the same shape. There was no distorting things happening in front of the fin boxes and things like that. Super light. So that was exciting to see that, you know, there were new avenues to build windsurfing boards. So I became 30 years old and never really went to school, but had understood approximately what windsurfing had gone through, and I could see also where it could go. And at that time there was a friend of mine, Tor Bakke, who used to have a school in Bahamas, a Norwegian friend, and he always invited me to come here and there, and in the end he invited me to join a factory that he worked with in Indonesia. So I worked with him for a year to help him develop a new project. And after that I realized that I could possibly actually make a small company myself and try to create some new boards. So at that time there was another little workshop in Thailand called Cobra, and Tor's son was the marketing manager, so I went up to see them. Tor was 17 years old, so the marketing manager was 17 years old. It was pretty cool, so we had a good time together. And at that time it was all the giants, you know. We had, there was Alpha, there was F2, Fanatic, Bic, Mistral, all these super giant companies that are ruling the world of windsurfing. So the only hope I had was that maybe we could make some cool stuff, and I would settle in Thailand and live by the Klong there, by the river there, and just enjoy life onwards. Then there were so many people that come with so many good ideas that I started to see we could go further. So we started this little production of boards made in the traditional Jean-Louis Colmas, wood boards. We actually painted them white in the beginning because we thought people would think that wood couldn't be reliable, that it will soak water and sink. So we had to paint them white the first few years. Right. And I went to Germany and met up with a couple of shops over there. Tried to see if they would be interested. And the first thing I got to hear is that the last thing the windsurfing world needs today is a new brand. So you just go home now. Don't waste your time. And then I went back home and probably worked hard for 3-4 years to come up with ideas in constructions, shapes, and started to realize that the way to move forward for the sport was to make it more accessible, because it seemed like even these big giant companies that should have a good understanding of the market, they went really narrow in strategy, in focus, in thinking, and also in board design, very narrow. So these boards were hard to use, hard to get up on, and it was hard to plane with. You had to have a quite strong breeze there to get planing. And at that time it wasn't cool to have dagger boards any longer, as all our great magazines and videos all presented things planing. So we got stuck in that. Then in came a couple of incredible people. First was Jamie Lever. Jamie Lever kind of said, Sven, let's just try to go wide. And so we started to go wide in our minds, and then we brought him over to Thailand to shape a board with us. That was our board 1, 2, 3, go. And it worked. At that time the Formula class had just started, and at that time also I had opportunity to meet with Jim Drake. Jim Drake, the inventor of windsurfing. Jim Drake, also the record holder of aerospace. He still holds the world record. He designed a plane that was manned, and it still has the quickest speed of any manned plane ever. It was called the X-15. And he's just the most pleasant person you can ever share time with. He received a message from me probably in 1999 about. I asked him, please, Jim, can you meet me and I'll let you try a new board. I guess the internet had just started, so it was easy to communicate then, right? So he wrote back and said, yes, that's great, just come. So I bought a ticket to see him in Santa Barbara. And Jim had just broken his arm 6-7 months earlier, so he hadn't been windsurfing since then. So he was a bit scared because, he's been on his needles for a while then. And we took him out, and then, he had a blast. Sailing up and down, reaching, tacking, he could do everything straight up. That was on the go. I guess it was 283 long, some 84 wide. And he was just saying that this is a new future of windsurfing. At that time, however, we get to hear from the market that, but this looks too strange. Why would you ever have a board as wide as that? 84 centimeters, that's just not sexy. So Jim said, don't despair. We're just gonna prove that this stuff really works. So now we're gonna build some new boards, and they're gonna win the world championships. So, being the engineer that he was, he used to actually sit inside the computers to design his planes. This was before computers were sitting on your lap. So he sit inside them, right? He was working at the Pentagon. And he sent us drawings of a new Formula board. So we built this board and refined it a little bit. Then we had it just ready for the World Championships of Formula in 2000, year 2000. And we had the first 6 places in that championship. So that was kind of the start for the world to realize that things were happening here. It was also the start of Starboard in a certain way. We just come out with the Go board. Then we made the people understand that the Go board actually works. It's fast, it's easy. It's a different way to look at windsurfing. So at that time the company started to shape up. We had been struggling really hard for 4 years. I was almost giving up. Because I came up from Germany, right? It wasn't that easy. So then it just took off. And then things just, everything came together. Mainly just by making things that were more easy to use. High performance, easy to use. Typically Evo, Scott McCurcher, ideas, wide wakeboards, and he wins the world championship and you take off. So suddenly we had great wakeboards. Same in free ride, wide free ride boards, just taking off. So altogether, what can I say? It's a very simple idea that took us so far. And I still see now when we talk paddleboarding, it's still the same there. Just go wide and we can invite everybody. It isn't more a elite sport, it's a sport for everybody. And even the wide boards have great performance. So it's just this technology, sharing ideas with people that drives me. And then what is cool is that we come here today to Costa Brava at our meeting, we share it with our networks. Then they go out and share that with people that come into their stores, and the magazine shares it with their readers. And I guess altogether, when I look back in time and then let's say 40 years into the future, when I'm setting my foot in the grave approximately, then I see that what we're probably able to achieve with all people around in our community of windsurfing, kiteboarding, surfing, paddleboarding is to just inspire people to get into the water, to just get different feelings and sensations, to get the power from the nature, to go out and get through the weeks and the years and maybe be more happy people. So there is the business side, which we drive really hard. We need to succeed so we can bring that message out to people that they can enrich their lives and they can bring their kids in again. As today, to be a kid isn't quite as easy as it was when I grew up. So we need to just give them the opportunities to explore nature. And that's what is ingrained in us now. The DNA just wants to make a fundament for a better environment for the next generation.